Today we will continue with Bobby the Brave, sometimes. Today we are really going to be talking about how Bobby has courage. When we think about courage, we might think about people who stay strong and positive in the face of major challenges. But there are a lot of ways in which people show courage in everyday life. Being courageous can simply mean showing up and doing your best even when things are tough. Today we will learn about some things that are tough for Bobby and how he is trying his best to show courage. Chapter 10, Fish Tank Talk. When Bobby got home, he found his father unsuccessfully trying to remove the living room curtains from the vacuum cleaner. Bobby was feeling on edge. It was like that queasy feeling he got when watching scary movies with Annie. He knew something bad was going to happen, but he didn't know when. Except that Bobby knew he was doomed next Monday at 10 a.m. during PE. After greeting his dad, Bobby ditched his backpack in favor of his board and skated up and down his street. With each shove-it, as he spun his skateboard 180 degrees, he loosened up. There was something liberating about skating, planting your feet on the deck and the feeling of the sidewalk beneath you. The freedom of flight when you got air, and the hard, solid landings when you ollied just right. Getting speed and then cruising. With skating, it was just Bobby and his board. No teams, no teacher, no rules. Casey was squealing as she ran around the front lawn and pretended the lawn gnome was chasing her. "Gnomey gnome was abandoned and I rescued him," she had told her mother. "You said you wanted something for the garden, and he's practically as good as a moat." "Hey, Bobby, can I try?" Bobby was surprised to see his father watching him from the driveway. Sure, he told his dad. "You'll need a brain bucket, though." Mr. Ellis Chan looked at him blankly. "A brain bucket is a helmet," Bobby explained. "How's this?" his father said, returning with his LA Earthquakes football helmet. Bobby nodded. "That'll do." When his dad stepped on the skateboard and it bowed in the middle, Bobby grimaced. That was the board that Grammy and Gramps had let him pick out over the summer. The new Troy Eagle Pro 99 deck with Eagle trucks and Grease Lightning smooth action titanium bearings. "Wait!" Bobby shouted. He ran into the house and brought out his old Troy Eagle Super 74 board. It was worn in all the right places from grinding the axles on the curb. The nose was battered from tricks, and there were Go Girly Girl stickers all over it, courtesy of Casey. But otherwise it was in great shape. "Here, use this," Bobby said, offering up his old skateboard. Mr. Ellis Chan leapt on the board. Then slowly he pushed off and headed down the street, gaining speed until... Crash! "Are you okay?" Bobby yelled, running to his father. "Wipe out!" Casey cried, hopping up and down and clapping. "Daddy wiped out! I'll get my doctor's kit." Mr. Ellis Chan looked stricken as he got up. Bobby stared at the skateboard. It had snapped in half. "I owe you one," his father finally said. "I'm sorry, Bobby." Bobby clutched his broken skateboard. That was the board he had learned kick turns on. He wanted to cry, but held back. "That's okay, Dad," he said. "I've got my new board." "But I broke it. I should have known better." "Really, it's okay," Bobby insisted. "Guess I should just stick to football," his dad mumbled. "I'm no Troy Eagle. Well, I'd better go start dinner." Bobby stood, holding his broken board, as he watched his father trudge down the street toward home. I would like you to pause and answer the following discussion question on your Google Doc. What do you think about the way Bobby reacts to his dad breaking his skateboard? What about Bobby's dad? What do you think this moment shows about the both of them? So, there's really 3 questions in your first comprehension question there. Make sure that your response has 3 sentences and make sure to turn the question around. Later, While his father was downstairs in the kitchen stirring a big pot of something orange, Bobby checked in on Koloff and Beatrice. They looked bored. "Here," he said, nudging the soccer ball with his finger. "Try pushing the ball." Neither appeared interested. Rover could push his soccer ball into a net and maneuver in and out of the hoops. Rover could follow Bobby's hand signals to swim back and forth and even do flips. Even though it had been nearly a month since Rover died, Bobby still thought about him every day. Sometimes he would go into the backyard where Rover was buried and leave little presents, like a shiny penny or an interesting rock. He missed talking to him. Rover had been an excellent listener. "Hey, you guys," Bobby said as Beatrice circled the castle. "Do you have a couple of minutes to chat?" When they didn't say no, Bobby took that as a sign that he should continue. "My PE teacher thinks that just because I'm the freezer's son, I'm good at football. I've got until Monday to figure out what to do." Koloff and Beatrice were silent for the longest time. "I know," Bobby agreed. "This is a tough one. I'm eating 7 meals a day, and I'm doing 100 sit-ups and push-ups every morning. Well, starting tomorrow I'm going to do that. I figure if I'm bigger and stronger, I'll be better at football and won't embarrass myself in front of Mr. Reinerhouse and my class." Koloff did a spin around the aquarium. "What was that?" Bobby asked. He sensed that Koloff was trying to tell him something, but he couldn't figure out what the fish wanted to know. "What is it, Koloff? Is it about football?" Koloff swam around the tank again. "Something about not embarrassing myself?" When Koloff rested inside the castle, Bobby gave up trying to guess what his fish was trying to tell him. Koloff wasn't like Rover, who was easy to understand. "Well, okay then. Thanks for listening. But we can talk more later. In the meantime, look what I have for you." Bobby brought out one of the hoops that Rover used to play with. Carefully, he placed it in the water. "Hey, Squirt!" It was Annie. Her football jersey was covered in dirt. She looked into the aquarium. Koloff stared back at her. "What's up?" "Not much." "Well, guess what?" Annie said. Even though she was wearing her helmet, Bobby could see her smile. "Coach says I'm one of the best quarterbacks Rancho Rosetta High School has ever had. Can you believe that?" "I can believe that," Bobby said. His voice was flat. "You don't sound too happy," Annie said. "What's with you?" "What's with you?" Bobby shot back. "Why'd you have to be so good at football?" "Whoa, what's your problem?" Bobby stared at Diver Dave. "I don't have a problem," he said as his jaw tensed. "Everything's fine. Now leave me alone." "Geez," Annie muttered as she backed out of the room. "And you say that I'm moody?" Bobby waited until he was sure she was gone to start talking to his fish again. "It's not fair," he told them. "I'll never be like Annie, no matter how hard I try." Now you will pause the video and answer your second comprehension question. Why do you think Bobby yells at Annie in this scene? Make sure to turn the question around and answer with a full sentence. Chapter 11, Big and Strong. All weekend, the familiar sound of the sewing machine whirring away filled the air. To Bobby, it seemed like his dad had been working on the Sandy costume forever. Yet, whenever he'd ask about it, Mr. Ellis Chan would say, "Soon enough, son. You'll have to wait until it's done to get the full effect." While Annie was out buying Halloween decorations with Mrs. Ellis Chan, Casey stayed home to watch Princess Becky's Planet. Princess Becky sang to the Halloween pumpkins to make them grow big and strong. That's what I need, Bobby thought. If I could get Princess Becky to sing to me, maybe I'd get big and strong. As he watched the rest of the show, Bobby wondered if his mom would let him quit school. He didn't want to face Mr. Reinerhouse on Monday. Perhaps he could get a job. Bobby tried to think of what he was qualified to do. Ice cream tester? Donut tester? Rock collector? The sewing machine noise ceased, and Mr. Ellis Chan appeared in the doorway holding a football. "Bobby, how about tossing the ball with me for a bit?" Normally, when his dad asked him to play football, Bobby said no. But this time was different. Maybe, just maybe, a miracle would occur and he could learn enough not to humiliate himself during PE. It was a long shot, but anything was worth trying. "Sure, Dad. Why not?" Mr. Ellis Chan lit up. "Really? Wow. All right then. Let's go." The targets and other things were still set up for Annie's football drills, but Bobby was more interested in just throwing the ball and catching it. He knew the rules of the game pretty well. Bobby had watched football lots of times on TV with his father. Whenever someone got tackled, Bobby shut his eyes. He didn't like seeing people get hurt. The last time his dad had played professionally, Bobby had been 6 years old. When the freezer got knocked down and didn't get up, both Bobby and his mother started crying. Later, at the hospital, Bobby was still crying. He thought his father was going to die. But he didn't die. Instead, his knee was so busted that he would never play pro ball again. Bobby never told his dad, but he was happy when he heard the news. This meant he wouldn't get hurt anymore. Only these days, Annie was playing football, and now Bobby worried about her, even though she was tougher than most boys. Mr. Ellis Chan lined up 5 footballs on the ground in front of him. "First, we'll practice catching. I'll throw these to you one after the other. You just catch the ball, then drop it and catch the next one, okay?" Bobby felt his body tense as he nodded. 5 footballs meant that he could mess up 5 times in a row. "It might help if you open your eyes when I throw the ball to you," Mr. Ellis Chan suggested. Bobby did his best to keep his eyes open as his father threw. Still, he missed almost every time. Once he did catch the ball, but it hurt when the pointy part hit his chest. Why don't they make football softer? He wondered. They switched to throwing. "Okay, hold the ball like this," his father said, showing Bobby what to do. Bobby tried to imitate his dad, but the ball was too big for his hands. Plus, it never went very far when he threw it, and it certainly didn't have that same spin that the freezer's or Annie's throws had. "You just need more upper body strength," Mr. Ellis Chan was saying. "Put more muscle into your throw, like this." Effortlessly, the football sailed across the sky. "You'll get there. Don't worry." But Bobby did worry. He had to get there by Monday. I would like you to pause and answer your third comprehension question. How do you think Bobby feels when he is throwing the football with his dad? Remember to turn the question around and answer in a full sentence. That night before bed, Mrs. Ellis Chan came in to check on her son. "New poster?" she asked. Bobby nodded. He had just put up his autographed Troy Eagle poster on his wall, the one of Troy doing an aerial over the Grand Canyon. "What shall we talk about tonight, Bobby?" his mother asked as she flipped up his pillow and motioned for him to get into bed. As was their custom, they had a nightly talk about the universe, or rocks, or skateboarding. It was Bobby's job to decide, and he always picked interesting subjects. "Mom," he began, "when do you think I'll start growing?" He had been thinking about this a lot lately. Mrs. Ellis Chan took Bobby's hand in hers. "Well, I can feel you growing right now," she exclaimed. Bobby took his hand back. "No, really, Mom, I'm serious." His mother brushed the hair away from his eyes. "Yes, I can tell you are, and that you're not a little kid anymore." Bobby nodded. He was happy his mother had noticed. "Everyone gets their growth spurts at different times. You'll have yours soon enough. How tall are you compared to the other kids in your grade?" "Not the smallest, but nowhere near the tallest," he said. "Do you think I'll ever be as big as Dad?" His mother mused. "That's unlikely because you're a combination of my side of the family and his. If you think about it, your father is way bigger than either of his parents were. As for his strength, you know how much your father works out." Bobby nodded. His dad was always lifting weights in the garage, and he ran a couple of miles a day with Annie. Sometimes Bobby followed them on his bike. "Annie's pretty tall," he pointed out. "Yes, and Annie's in high school. By the time you're her age, you will be a lot taller, I promise," his mother reassured him. "Any other questions, or are you stalling for time now?" Bobby started to say something, but then stopped himself. "All done," he said. His mother kissed him on the forehead. "Okay then, now lights out. It's time for bed. Getting plenty of sleep will help you grow. Good night, honey." "Good night, Mom." Bobby did have one more question, but it always got stuck in his throat. He wanted to know what "he's not like me" meant. You have one final comprehension question to answer for today. Why do you think it's so important for Bobby to understand what his dad meant when he said, "He's not like me" at the beginning of the story? Make sure to turn the question around and use a full sentence for your answer.